Is that something? Yeah, I mean, who knows? Who knows?
Right. Well, what I was gonna do is I was gonna put that dime, like the bullet points on the back of it and tape it on there so I remember what to ask for exactly on there. And I figured, man, with your one-liners, that was awesome. And if there's anything that you think I should add on there, just because it's right on my front desk and it's yeah, slowly kind of evolving. And I'm a new agent as well, Roger, so I'm learning a whole bunch of stuff with country.
Yeah. Drink from a fire hose, and you always will be. Because I'm
Oh,
still learning. I'm still learning all the time. So I just sent you. It's pretty, it's pretty rough life page, but I just sent that to you with the little numbers on there and stuff like that. So you have it.
oh, okay.
The one I held up in class, the one I print off and put in my box. I don't. I have a desk, but I don't see clients here at my house. So,
Oh, gotcha.
but I sent that to you, and I need to tweak it. I need to make it look a little bit better. But I mean, it'll do in a pinch. And
Okay.
I like using the life method instead because again, the L stands for liabilities or whatever. People are going to tell you different things, but liabilities, debts, I is income and continuation, F final expenses, funeral expenses, and E is education and everything else. So kind of thing. Now, one of the things I talked about on Friday, is again doing the half a dime ahead of time, doing the nickel ahead of time, right?
Right.
Should I mean, looking back, I wish I would have done more of that. It's so easy to do it.
Yeah.
And just ask another pivot question, just another follow up question. I mean, it is, and you can figure out half the dime before you even have the client in front of you.
That, yeah,
Right?
when you said that, that was bullet points that were going off. I was like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, how much do you owe on your mortgage? Like that was easy to remember
Yeah,
and it doesn't have to go in just carry on a normal conversation.
right, right. And there's a president we don't have to go over today, but I call it going down the rabbit hole. And I say, if you're on the phone with somebody, you're getting there. Here's 11 questions that you could ask now, but they got to come naturally from the flow of it. You don't want to be like, dude, you kind of want to work those into the normal conversation, but we don't want to let them off the hook. And if they say, "Why you asking me this?" Well, we're a little different here in country. I
Right.
actually need to make sure you have the right liability limits, the right. I need to make sure you have enough to cover your deductible in the event of a claim. I need to find out where you have everything else. And see me as one of your teammates here that I need to know all your moving pieces. Even if you're insured somewhere else, I need to know that information to make sure I'm doing what you need me to do. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to say.
Right.
And if it ever sounds polished, or if it sounded polished on Friday, I'm in my 28th year of doing it. So I mean, looking back, I wish I had recorded myself a few times because it wasn't polished at all. Right?
Oh, right. One is like you said, so that life stands for liability, I for income, F is for funeral, and E is education,
And everything else, if you
and
just want to call it that. It's not, I've heard people say everything else because
everything
if,
else.
if you're sick with a person that doesn't have a kid, don't say education necessarily.
R-
Everything else. Kind of
Right.
thing. You kind of tailor it to who you're in front of.
Okay.
Uh, and one of the things I didn't get a chance to talk about on Friday uh, was and I don't think I did. Shoot, and again, I'm all over the place, but I want to take a step back, get to know you in just a second before I forget really
Okay.
quick. Um,
Absolutely.
I got my first life insurance policy when I was 20, well, 22. I started with Country when I was 21, day after graduation from college, and started trying to sell my fraternity brothers life insurance, disability, auto, home, all these different things. Never wanted to do it, wanted to go into advertising. Got stopped by Tim Harris, our executive vice
Okay.
president, at a job fair. And I was on my way out. I was pretty upset and no advertising. And he encouraged me to go through. And here I am 28 years later. So,
Wow.
kind of thing. But I got my policy, my first life policy, which is still on the books. Other ones have come and gone and stuff like that. But my first one is still on the books, executive whole life, because my parents were co-signers on my student loan. So if I
Okay.
died, they were stuck with my loan. So that's one thing I ask people too. A lot of people think, oh, this person rents, they don't need coverage. There's a lot of reasons they do. And we've got to start getting them thinking about their future. I know you're in this apartment right now. I know you're just renting right now. Probably don't have a lot of assets. If you were to buy a house today, how much do you think you'd have to spend on the house? Well, it's probably going to be 600,000. Now you get the life insurance for 600,000. It's one less thing they have to worry about. I'm out dating. I don't have a wife yet. I don't have kids yet. But you're talking about it someday? Yeah. Well, it's never been cheaper to get life insurance now. This is one more thing you bring to the table when finding that significant other. For you've heard
Right.
about this place. There's always ways to talk about that. I've even talked to older single people. I don't have any debts. I don't have anybody to leave any money to. Well, tell me, what's your favorite charity? Well, I like the Red Cross. What do you give them money? Yeah, I give them $50 a month, or whatever like that. How about taking that 50, buying a life insurance policy and giving them even more
Gotcha.
when something happens to you? So there's always ways, and you're going to hear people different presentations, different things. And I'm glad you're in Austin. Love Austin.
Yeah.
But when you go to these different presentations, don't ever change everything you're doing. Just tweak what you're doing, add to what you're doing. Don't change everything too often. Oh, I'm gonna try to do what Diana Hoverson does. I'm gonna try to do what Allison
Mhm.
Rock. Take pieces of what they do and use it. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. And that's where I'm just trying to put all the pieces together as a new agent. Like I'm like, it is like I get a little bit of Austin, a little bit of Chris, a little bit of Allison, Eric, like all of those parts. Like I always had a one-on-one meeting with them, and with Andy, like how do you do it? What do you do? So that way
Yeah.
I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I just want to jump on the wheel.
Well, exactly. I love that. I'm gonna steal that. I like that. I like that. I
Yeah.
always say, don't need to reinvent the wheel. We just need to redecorate the spokes, is what I kind of say.
Gotcha.
Kind of thing. But I just want to jump on the. I like that. So
Yeah.
I'll give you credit for that. But yeah,
Sweet.
that's awesome.
I got one
So
on you. I'm one up till
there you
you're,
go. There you go.
well, you see, you're leading by example. It's because you're one-liner. So I'm like, I gotta got something on them. No.
Yeah. Well, I will have a chapter in my book someday if I, ever compile everything from all these years. It's cheesy, but it works.
Dude,
And it resonates. And repetition's good. You're going to hear me say the same things over and over and over again. Yeah.
well, that right there with the everything else, because that is covers way more than education, and that's a wider brain range than just education. Because,
Yeah.
but it's like you said, just tweaking it to the people and just asking all those questions. Man, those were huge, and those are the questions that I'm not learning while I'm asking every time, hey, who does your life insurance policy? But now I'm like, oh, I just gotta blend it in with the conversation to know ahead of time that, like you said, that half a nickel is worth that dime. So two questions was like, how much do you owe on the mortgage? And what was the other question that you had?
What do you do for a living and how much do you make a year?
What do you
And then
do?
you can even say how much longer are you going to keep doing that?
Oh, okay.
I want to work 10 more years. Now I've got their income continuation. They're 45 and they want to work till 65. That's 20 years of income I have to replace. Is what happens. Now I've already got that there. So the numbers will start ballooning with
Okay.
what kind of life insurance people need. But that goes back to, on a side note, to the walk down. Shoot for the moon. They're not committed to anything until it gets issued, and then you can get into it with them. Too often people start trying to figure out the budget. Oh, that's going to cost time. You could get preferred. You could get preferred plus. Now, I wouldn't say that to a 400-pound person, but I'm just trying to say
Gotcha.
we're going to underwrite this as best as possible. You're not committed to it. I encourage my clients to get to and through underwriting, and then we'll have more of a conversation about what fits within your budget. I got to get you approved first.
So that was the part that I
Like
didn't
they,
understand. Like a lot of agents, oh, I'm gonna set at 500,000. Like I don't, that's the part I don't understand right now. I'm like, okay, well, I have a kid that's going through Navy SEAL training, and I'm like, oh, dude, he's 27. And I was like, well, I've known him for his whole life and his parents. And I
yeah,
was like, how do I approach, and he trusts me? And I'm like, oh, do I figure out that life on his that life number or that dime, debt,
yeah.
income. Well, he doesn't have a mortgage and he doesn't have no education besides just going trying to
Military.
pursue military. Yeah.
So that's the thing. Again, I kind of hinted at it the other day. We try to overthink it. We try to overknow it, and then we
Yeah.
try to oversell it, right? I mean,
Oh,
again, we do, and I've been there. And I
okay.
was trying to touch on it, but my presentation got a little abbreviated. It's okay. So I had to talk really quick when I
Yeah,
said
it was
most of
very short. You should have been the one
it.
on OJ stuff, at least from my standpoint. I mean, there was a lot of golden nuggets that you had, and it was, they say the last for the best, I guess, but it was just, you
I
had a lot.
appreciate that.
you had a
I
lot of
appreciate that.
nuggets that everybody could, that I wish I would have had more of. And I was trying to mingle with you, but I understand family and all that. But I'm so grateful that
Yeah.
you did reach out to, schedule this. So thank you.
Yeah, I wrote to Devin too, just to see if he hasn't responded back, but
Uh,
I'll keep bugging him. So
gotcha.
don't, don't send that meeting with Roger. Because
Okay.
what we're gonna do, if it's okay with you, is before we're done today, we're gonna set up the next meeting in 2 weeks, and we're just gonna keep rolling. Now, if you need more, use me more, and I'll get over there and I'll take you and Austin out to lunch sometime soon, and before the holidays get too crazy, and we'll talk even more ideas. I know exactly where your office is.
Okay.
Kind of fun stuff.
Yeah.
But tell me, how'd you get here? I don't even know that. How did you get the country?
Oh man. Well, I used to have a martial arts and fitness gym for the last like, yeah, shoot, 20 till, well, actually, I still am training and coaching people, but not doing it as much. Pandemic hit, and actually, my pro boxer was an insurance agent with Country, and so I switched all my policies over. He had my business, had all this, and he was up in Washington, and then he moved down to Arizona. You probably, I don't know if you know about Nick Brainies, but
No,
long story
but he's still
short.
with us. He's still with us.
Yeah, he's still with Country. He's down in Arizona, and he was like, "Oh, Jimmy, you got to come in and do insurance." I was like, "Dude, I can't sit on my ass and look at this like I don't know numbers and reading books and trying to go through this." So long story short, I'm he said, "Hey, you just get commission, you can still do the other thing." And then I was like, "Okay, well, I'll give it a shot and see." But it was kind of up and down, and I was like, "Ah." If I'm gonna do it, I told him I need to be on salary. I can't just have one foot in, one foot out. And he's all, I can't afford it. So long story short, I went and left with Country, but still stayed in contact. I trained him for all of his pro fights and amateur fights, and he was a boxer. And I was like, no, I want to get back into it. And then I went into an independent route, and I was like, it was a startup. I was like, well, if you're willing to gamble on me, I'm willing to gamble on you guys. And it was a startup that didn't really start up in 3 months. And then, long story short, I went to Farmers because the person there was one of the head honchos that was kind of starting off in the fire score and all that. That was a 3 month trial or training where I got in with another agent and was learning the ropes. But it was like, you know what? I didn't vibe with certain things that she was doing, and I was like, you know what? I'm all in here, and I wanted to get my life and health agents or license. And so 3 months there, and then the fire score just went down the toilet, and I think her book got majorly affected from it, and she couldn't sustain hiring me. So long story short, I took a 6 month hiatus to study and figure out. I was like, you know what, the insurance, I still like doing it. I just need to learn the process. So met with Christine and
Yeah.
was seeing if we vibed, and I'm in. I mean, I know a ton of people in Bend, but I was just like, I'm just trying to get my groove into letting people know that I've transitioned. Well, I'm still training and I'm still leading in. Like I'm now, like my agenda for this next year is I have an assistant coming on next week, which is a blessing in disguise because man, I've been
Great.
pulling my hair out like crazy. Like this is a mental barrier that I have to overcome with all the servicing this and that. Like there's so much stuff that I don't know and I feel incompetent. And that's the part that I can't stand feeling like that just because I want to be able to help people. And if I don't know it, how can I help them? You know what I mean? Um,
Well,
so
when did you start? Did you start? Sorry to interrupt, but when did you start?
in June of this year with
Okay.
Country. So I was,
So cut yourself a little slack. It's only been 5 months, so
yeah,
don't be too hard on yourself. Is what I'm trying to say. So I still have brain farts almost every day with something
okay.
and stuff, and I'm still trying to service stuff and do things. I don't want to do the PNC anymore, but you know more than most people already. You're 5 months in. You're doing good. So
Yeah,
keep going.
I'm still here. I got the straw. Now I know what they mean by a fire hose. I'm breathing out of the straw because
Oh yeah.
it is just so much information. And how do you do that? And then seeing how Austin streamlines it and how to use the
But you've been
signature
doing that for
page.
a while. You've been
Yeah,
doing it.
and
Yeah.
that's yeah. And so anytime he talks, I'm like, whoop, all ears
Yeah.
and listening. You know what I mean? Just because I don't want to. I just want to jump on and just figure out how to do this. And I know in my heart, God gifted me with service and people, and I know I'm here for a reason and helping
Good.
people in a different aspect. And I did it in the martial arts. I started from nothing and zero and built a $200,000 business out of nothing besides here's one that you can use, my PhD.
Oh, yeah.
So I got and it's not the doctor's PhD.
Right.
It's
What is it?
passion, hunger, and desire.
I like it. I like
So
it.
so all of this is just like because through my lifeline and through my timeline, I was through trials and tribulations as we all go through, but being a kid in the foster home system to here to learning to grow up to physically learning how to protect myself. That's how why I got into martial arts and
Yeah.
fitness and been doing that for the last 40 years and I'm never going to stop training people, but I got a skill set that I can lead in. And now with those business owners policies, those things seem so much easier to write that I'm going to lead in with physical therapy, lead in with chiropractors, dentists to give a self-defense. And on top of that, a 30-minute like self-defense tape. Well, by the way, I do all your insurance. Like what Carrie I forgot his last
Williams.
name. Yeah, Kerry
Williams.
Williams said it. That really resonated with you. He's like, we want to cover you from cradle to grave. And I was like, wow, that was like
It's true.
huge. And it was like, wow, how do I implement that? But now I want to give them skill sets that they are going to have and it's bringing value and reward. So I'm not trying to make a living off of martial arts. I still have like my online app and training and courses and protocol. But here's this where I can lead in within the community where so many people know me as a martial arts guy. Yeah, I'm going to give value, and it's a 30-minute safety teams meeting or bonding time. I was like,
Love it.
I'm going to be in here. I'm the guy that I still need everybody to fill out my waivers. So that way, on the back end, I'm going to be getting their home addresses, their phone numbers, and their email. So I'm going to be soliciting like hey, by the way, thanks for attending the self-defense. By the way, I do insurance if you ever need a comparison
Yeah.
review and just make it a
Sure.
short, simple, non-approach because I don't want to go out and buy all these leads when I have a network of leads in the community.
Yeah.
I want to
Yep.
use up these until they are like approved um,
Right.
from everybody that I have and everybody that I know has gotten have been how do I say it is they trust me, they know me. And so
For sure. Yeah.
here goes what I did in the martial arts community, I'm gonna do in the insurance community. How?
I
I
love
don't
it.
know, but my last name is Smith, right? So
Yep.
here's another challenge for you to add other agents. So I want them to bring every letter of their name an acronym. Mine stands for strength, mindset, integrity, training, health. So now I'm transferring that into the insurance world of my
Okay.
last name by living on my coat of arms to bring that to people. It's just figuring out how, and I think having an assistant work with me hand in hand, I'm ready to skyrocket. It's like I've been biting at the bits, but I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I'm just like
Okay.
going somewhere, but like, okay, trying to figure it out and then having a team person that I can actually have here and I can bounce off ideas this and she has more experience than me, which I'm like, hey, we're gonna build up a system. We're gonna smash every other competitor with success, not with like bad mouthing. Nope. I just want to see and
Actually,
let them know like that same thing I did in the martial arts world as I did it. I'm gonna try to figure out how to do it in the insurance world.
good. Good. What's the M and the T again for your last name?
Mindset, so and training, and with
I love it.
so
I got
with
you.
for Smith, I'm going to come up with savings or whatever it is, money markets or investments. You're always in training, and then you want the
Yep.
health for the longevity of your family. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of
Yeah.
bringing that in, and that's stuff that's like, and I had it printed out on my shirt, and I had guys
Yep.
that wear it, and it was like, you know what? That was something that it was on there that was with a lost art in serving people, whether it's, hey, I want this, and and trying to educate people is what I'm learning to do more than just trying to sell them. Because it's easier if
Right.
I can just point out, hey, you should have this, and if not, then let's come back and visit. And and see
Yeah,
how I can help them.
I love it. I love that, and that's awesome. And again, one of our mottos used to be years ago, "We're a little different," and that was even before I started. And that's what we have to do more than ever. You work with country. You don't work for a country. You're an independent contractor. You work with. You're the person. You are the brand. You are the face of your agency, right? I mean, that's what you've got to do. You've got to create this. There's one guy, his name's Bryce DeCapite or whatever, and he has this caricature. He's got this
Mhm.
weird wafty hair, but somebody drew a caricature, of him. And then my agent, that's actually Stacey Spar, I won't be able to see this here, but he made these little stickers, and this is that's called
Oh,
the
okay.
Dove Box, and it's a fiberglass company that makes trailers that look like old Volkswagen
Oh,
things, but
wow.
there's Stacy and his two assistants, so I mean,
Okay.
little marketing stuff. Yeah, you gotta get it approved and all that stuff. But you know what? You have a lot more opportunity to individualize yourself now. I mentioned the other day, Keisha Messina. She was an AA or an AOA office assistant. Now she's become a referral agent
Okay.
over in Rogersville, Springfield, Missouri. She calls herself a protection designer
Yeah.
because she comes in and she's designing a protection plan for these people. I mean, you gotta make yourself different. Yeah,
Well,
you gotta, yeah,
and that's the thing that I have all this martial arts experience, 40 years,
yeah,
where it's like, yeah, the difference. I was protecting your body. I was protecting you to not have a heart attack, to lose that weight. And now I'm just protecting your assets. So just figuring out how to blend those two
yeah,
together, which separates me because I don't know any other agent that has a martial arts background that could actually go in and teach at any place at schools. I've been there, done that, where it's
yeah,
like, but I just got to figure out how to blend it in. But it's also the service stuff has just been, that's where I'm like, I'm a sinking ship
it's
with
overwhelming.
it
It's
is.
it's overwhelming. I can tell you all day about time management because we have to do that, but I'm guilty of having a plan and an email comes in, throws me off
Oh,
track. I mean,
yep.
or I get a call. I don't want to say I don't have service in my role. Sorry, something just popped up. Right there, that just threw me off. It's
Yep.
like, no, no, no. But even in my role, I have that. Now I get the service is a pain. Did you inherit some book of business? Is that
I
what you got?
did.
Okay, okay. And is it all around Bend, or do you have to travel a long way since it's really spread out?
Most of it's in Bend, but I'm also getting new agent like a reassignments. I'm like, oh, what does this mean? How do I do this? What I mean,
Yeah,
like I've never had that. And it was like, oh, well, you're these agents, this agent left and they want a local agent and they want to keep it in
yep,
here. So I'm like, okay, well, this is like
yeah,
figuring out the SOPs and all this stuff. Like,
right,
where do I go? Like, countries, like, here you go, here it is,
yeah,
figure it out.
right,
And I'm like,
exactly.
wow. I mean, it's great.
Well,
It's a blessing and a curse, but I just need
right.
those other guidelines that I'm trying to figure out. But to do it on a one-man show, no way. I was like Burger King. I had it my way and I don't want it that way.
Right.
Um,
It's
I,
too much. It's
it
too
is.
much. And I've never had an assistant, never will, even in my role now or anything like that. But like I said, you've got to service all that, but you've also got a good opportunity to set this how it is with me, right? Okay,
Mhm.
because you're going to get people saying, well, this person did this. You have the ability to come in, not saying anything about the other person, and just shine, right? You're going to, and stuff. But what I'm trying to get at is do that, but don't spread yourself too thin too fast. And I was just talking to a gentleman in
Okay.
Missouri. He's been here 10 years. His name's Patrick Turner, and he's a financial advisor. And I was talking to him this morning. It's been a few months since I talked to him, so we were reconnecting. And I was like, "What are you doing?" "Well, I'm doing this, these reviews, and I'm doing this, but I'm just doing the auto and a home." And so I started trying to again tweak and redecorate the spokes. Change your review to talk about everything they don't have before you talk about what they do have. Because down the road, Jimmy, you're gonna get to a point where you're like, I did 10 reviews this week, and all I did was save their auto and their home, and we ran out of time. I didn't even get to bring up to life, right? I mean, it's gonna happen, okay? But I don't want you to be transactional. And a lot of people say, well, we do half-hour reviews. I do not subscribe to a half-hour review. Now, I do keep my meetings to an hour or less. I'm just telling you because at an hour, I start going cross-eyed. If I'm going cross-eyed, the client's going
Oh,
cross-eyed. I lost the client a while ago. So
uh,
so you gotta be careful about that. But half hour to me is just too quick. So don't tell me that corporate. I don't like the half hour
right.
thing. But if it's functional and they're interacting with me,
That's
great.
gotcha.
So I just had what I'm getting at, well, coming back to it is I've seen people set half hour, half hour, half hour, half hour like this up
Uh,
against each other. But you need to give a little wiggle room, on
yes.
your meetings. I always try to schedule our meetings at 45 minutes so we have a little bit of transition time to our next meeting. Unless, I have no problem using the hour with you, but if you need the transition or something, I would try to give that little wiggle time.
Right.
What I'm also getting at is getting a big book of business is again is a blessing and a curse, and you're
Yes.
gonna want to try to impress everybody.
Right.
But don't personally, I wouldn't schedule. I'm gonna say, if you were established, I wouldn't do more than 3 to 5 reviews a week.
Right.
Now, as you're getting going, 5 to 7.
Absolutely.
Because really what we want to do in an ideal world, we'd have 9 to 15 appointments a week. We'd have 3 to 5 initial appointments, 3 to 5 follow-ups, 3 to 5 reviews, which would be great. And that'd be enough because then we're gonna, but I've had over 20 a week. Last week I had 40 meetings, but I'm in a different
Wow.
role than kind of
Right.
thing. So,
Right.
and stuff. But what I'm trying to say, you'll go crazy if you try to do it all. And I'm glad you've got somebody else coming on because that will definitely help. You're both going to fumble your way through some stuff, right?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
obviously you've got Austin, and what's Austin's assistant's name there?
Claire.
Claire, that's right. And
Yeah.
she's the one that brings in the doggies, right?
Yeah, it
Or was that
was
somebody else?
that was Lori Moschwitz that
Oh,
used to,
Lori Brown.
yeah, and
Okay,
it
so
was
Claire had it too.
that was Christine and Cheryl, who was
Oh,
working
gotcha.
under Lori.
Lori. Yeah,
Yes,
that's right.
but I guess Cheryl brings in the dog occasionally, but I haven't seen it. But
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I love coming in and out and seeing what dogs come up to me. It's been a while. So,
gotcha.
like I said, we'll find a time on the schedule for both of you, and I'll come over and hang out with y'all.
Very
For
cool.
that. But so I'm just giving you little bits and pieces of what to do and what not to do. But that's what we're saying about this being a blessing and a curse. We offer everything here, right? At
Right.
Country. Now, Austin, as a financial advisor, with everything he offers, 76 different products.
Oh my
In fact,
goodness.
one of my friends back in home office, Levi Champion, sat down and figured it out how many products an FA, a financial advisor, offers.
Wow.
Nobody can master all that. Nobody.
Right.
Nobody can. So seeing other resources here at Country
Okay.
that, again, I mentioned the other day, I'm salary. I don't get any contest credits or anything like that. You don't have to split anything with me. We're going to talk about referral agent to financial advisor to Austin. There are
Oh,
opportunities here.
yeah. All day
But
long. Like I put people in where I think they're going to be a better fit. Like I got one with Fabian, one with Chris, one with Allison, Eric, one with definitely with Austin because it's in the office. Another one with Andy. So based on the client, like who their personality is, who I want to have outsourced, because I'm like, hey, this person's going to fit great for you, as opposed to just having one person and then I'm rolling the dice both by them.
that's perfect. Now that's perfect. And like I said, today, when in our time together, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what you get for it. You probably already know, but I'm going to show you some other opportunities and
Okay.
just make sure you're doing a couple things the right way to make sure you get credit for it. And then also ways to bring it up if you're ever struggling, bringing up opportunities and things like that.
Yeah.
Because I want you, and you're going to have to come up with your business plan soon too for next year.
Yes.
I want you to be thinking about every week I'm going to find 1 to 2 referrals to get to some advisor in the agency. Now, on a basic, right there, if you found 2 referrals, you get $100 for each of those referrals. And we're going to talk about what that entails here in just a second. You probably already know, but I'm still going to go over it with you. That 200, that's 200 a week. That's 800 a month. Now, if you can start disciplining yourself, and that's part of your budgeting, that's part of your income. That's, I get through a week and I didn't get a referral over to Austin. Next week I got to get an extra one. It's all about discipline. Nobody
Right.
can force you to do that. I love the referral agent to financial advisor program because there's no pressure on you.
Yeah.
But years ago, you mentioned Kerry Williams. So Kerry Williams was the manager at Gresham. And his wife Phyllis was our agency office assistant in the Clackamas agency
Oh,
where I was
wow.
manager. So he became one of my dads. I still call him that because him and Mark Morley was in Oklahoma, and then also Tim Harris. So Tim Harris taught me on the job fair years ago, and those are my three dads in the field.
Wow.
Now I don't stay in touch with all of them. I report to Carrie if he ever needs me and stuff like that. And Jody above him did my phone interview in 1998 when I was going through the interview process. So
Oh,
known
wow.
all these guys for a long time.
Right.
What I was getting at there, what was I getting at with Carrie? Because I brought up Carrie, tangent off to Carrie.
The referrals, the $100, $800.
Oh yeah, yeah. So if you can figure that in to your budget and to what you're going to make and discipline yourself, it's going to open up a world of opportunities. Now, years ago, I would go to a meeting and I'd be driving home and I'd be like, I brought up Otto to home. Morley's going to ask me about life. And managers, and yourself are only going to listen to, I ran out of time so many times before they start getting on your case.
Right.
Now, again, I can already tell Jimmy, I'm not going to have to worry about pestering you. You're going to pester yourself or you're going to try to discipline yourself. And you've got discipline in your blood kind of thing.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is now we've got to go not just to auto, the home, and the life. Now we got to bring up the financials. But how do we do that? As a referral agent, the simplest terms, you can ask, you cannot advise.
Right.
But I want you not to overthink what product is this person going to go to. You don't need to, like I said the other day, lead with questions. Don't worry
Right.
about the products. Lead with life insurance. We lead with questions. We'll worry about the products later. We don't need to tell them everything we know about every single product, or we don't have to figure it out until we know more information.
Gotcha.
Well, really, what it takes for you, a good chunk of information for you to get to Andy, Allison, Chris,
Right.
Austin, whatever. Obviously they're going to know the name and age because you've created a navigator folder for them and put that information in there. But if you can find out what they do for a living and how much they make, well, you're finding that already because you're trying to figure out a life insurance need already, right? You're already asking that. So what do you do for a living? What do you make? Then you kind of go into, when do you want to retire? How many more years you going to do that? That's the first question. Right now, I didn't say, do you want to retire?
Right.
Or are you saving for retirement? No, hopefully they are, but I need to find out when they want to retire. Because some people will say, well, I want to retire at 53. Well, you're 50. What do you got going for you? What kind of buckets you got? And you'll hear me say buckets. My wife was in the wine industry. I call it barrels of money, whatever you want to call it, kind of thing. But yeah, I need to know what they're doing, how much they make. Okay, and then the next time you and I visit, I'm going to walk you through what's called product profiler, which is what we have to do for you to get your $100.
Okay.
No sale has to be made. It's just finding the opportunity. Okay,
Gotcha.
so if I find out when they want to retire, what they do for a living, that's a good thing. I also want to find out how much do you have in retirement? What kind of plans do you have? Now you can ask that. You just cannot start talking about mutual funds. You can't start talking about different kinds of plans and stuff. Well, I have this through work. Well, that's cool. What do you put in and how much does your employer match? And I always joke with people when we do when we do joint meetings together, you'll hear me tell the clients when they say I get a 6% aid, I'm like, you guys hiring? Because I don't even get that at country. So you'll hear me say kind of that same thing there,
Right.
making them feel good about what they're doing, even if they're just starting out.
Gotcha.
So again, what do you do? What does your employer offer and things like that? And then if I've already said when do you want to retire, I say, well, what are you doing to reach that goal and who are you working with? Now I can find out, oh, I got a plan to work, but I don't have a financial advisor. Okay, you got that. Can you give me a copy of that statement? I'd love to share that with my guy Austin here. We just want to kind of look at what you've got going on, be a second pair of eyes, second pair of ears, and see what we can do to help you here. It's in our name. It's in the pickle. Country Financial. We offer those services as well. And you can say, hey, I have a teammate here that helps my family clients. You've probably heard me say that. I call it family and clients. I don't call it book of business.
Right.
And it helps them out, helps my family and clients in areas I'm not licensed.
So I had one question for you. I don't mean to cut you off, but before I forget is when a financial advisor does an assessment or whatever it be, maybe what is the average cost that a person who's not associated with country that would have a financial assistant sit down with them? Is there an hourly wage like to have it would be like $300 for them to go over something?
So it could be anywhere from free. It could be anywhere up to thousands of dollars. And
Just
my stance has always been, because I left country and I went to Valak Financial Advisors. I helped nonprofits for 4 years, and the people I worked with dealt with bigger cases. I dealt with enrollments, small rollovers. Okay,
okay.
so but some pretty impressive nonprofits for giving a lot of money,
Oh,
like up to 10% into a 403b. I'm like, what the heck? Way better than what I get here. But what I'm getting at is the people I worked with, they would charge several $100s just to sit down with somebody,
right.
and several $100s more to do a plan. My
Okay.
stance is, even if I had that opportunity there or here, I want their money going into their plan. I don't want I'm salaried.
Right.
You're gonna make, even as a referral agent, you're gonna make that $100. You're gonna make some comp off of certain products, and you're gonna get contest credits, and it's gonna help you on the life grid. That's what I was getting at the other day. That's in your control, and we'll talk more about that the next time we visit, about how that adds up and what you get beyond the $100. But yeah, we're different. We can get people started off at $50 down, $50 a month for retirement.
Gotcha.
Most companies out there wouldn't even spend a minute with that person, right?
Right.
You have to have 100,000, you have to have 350. I was in a networking group years ago when I was primarily focused on PNC, and that was my role in the group. And the financial guy goes, I only talk to people that have 500,000 or more. And we'd
Right.
all look around like, we got nobody for you,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you won't take anybody else. Well, I have a teammate that will do 300,000. Okay. That's not our niche. Now we do get big cases, but that's not. We're different. We want to help people get going, and but that comes through in your presentation to them too.
Right.
Here we can get you going. But if you find out they don't have a checking account, they don't have a retirement, their employer doesn't offer anything, now you can be that good person. Oh, that's another thing. Uh, but you can wait. But now you have an opportunity to show how awesome they are. That
Gotcha.
we're here. Now there's some people that have too much under management, financial advisors, that don't have time for a small case. Okay, they just don't. They just don't,
Right.
or things like that. Or they need more information or something like that. Now, in my role, I like to be the conduit between the RA and an FA and help
Oh,
out where
okay.
I can behind the scenes. Now, if there's ever a situation where the FAs are all too busy, or in some of my districts, I have people that are aspiring to become an FA, they
Okay.
refer directly to me, and I write the business.
Gotcha.
Now, I'd rather have an RA get it to an FA because I want two people to get credit for it and
Right.
things like that. But I'm still judged on writing business for referral agents and stuff. So,
Okay.
but you've got those, and that's why we're talking today. I want to see who you're referring to already. I love that you're referring to more than one person.
Yes.
But with each of those, do you know the whole process? Make rep referrals. Do you know how to do all that in Navigator?
No, I did that once, and Christina's like, "Don't do it yet because you only have a 3 day process or something." And I think she didn't understand the systems and
No. So think of one. Well, go ahead and share your screen and pull
okay.
up Navigator, share Navigator, and if you can, and pull up the one that you were thinking about referring or to Austin. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what.
Okay.
So
Um, Go here, share the screen. Can you see the screen?
it's coming through. Yep, there you are. So yep, pull up that person's folder.
Gosh, I don't even, well, this is one I've done. It was referred to Fabian because when I was at corporate
This
office. No, I don't even, I can't remember the person that I referred to Fabian on. Oh, let me see. Actually, let me look up on his email.
I'll show you how to do it because we want to make sure you get credit, because also when you make rep referral, that FA or financial specialist like myself would get an email notification that says this has been referred to you. And I'm going to show you how it changes the folder a little bit. You're still always their go-to. And like the other day, I was meeting with this lady on Monday in Missouri. The referral agent Matt Bear was on there with me, and this gal named Chris. I'm always pumping you up. Jimmy's your go-to for everything. I'm just on Jimmy's team. Kind of thing. And that's what I was doing with Matt the other day. I go, Matt's gonna take care of everything you got here. And then behind the scenes, Matt and I went over. I got to tell you about that in a second, about liability limits, because I still am passionate about liability limits and umbrellas. So I'll talk to you more about that. But is this the one you referred to, Fabian?
Yes, yes, this
Okay.
one,
Oh,
was in here. He's a contractor. I did his annual review and he was all gun ho, but then I was like, okay, what do I do? How do I do it? And this is when I
Okay,
was in.
perfect. Perfect. Okay. So step one is this. I'm going to ask for control and I'm going to show you how to do this here. Let me see if it will come in. That
Yep,
say
get
give Roger
control.
control.
Yep.
There we go. Okay.
Can you hold on 1 second, Roger? I just gotta go tell this person I'll be with them in a little bit. Give me 1 second. No, it was a buddy that's coming in and wants to BS, and I don't have time to BS.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right, thanks, Roger. Sorry about that. Ugh,
No, you're fine.
I just wanted to, yeah.
If there's ever, if we ever need to bump our meeting, you got a client thing, I'm flexible, okay? So, yeah, so that thing. So
Awesome.
what I'm gonna show you here, this is what we have to do, this first step. Now, when you make a rep referral, it's good for 90 days, okay?
Oh,
What that
okay.
means is if the financial advisor, the financial specialist can't do anything with that person within the first 90 days, you'll have to make a rep referral again. Okay,
Okay.
so it's not a big deal. I don't know what the 3-day thing. So let me show you what you have to do here. So all you have to do, if this is it, is go down to this.
Got
See
it?
that make rep referral?
Yes.
So I'm gonna go like this. Now, this email will go to Fabian. It will say this has been referred to you. You can add notes here. The biggest thing I can ask of you, Jimmy, is reach out via email or phone call to these financial advisors and say, I met with this client. Here's the information I know about this person. Okay. And I'm going to show you the example from Matt Bear in just a second here on what he sent to me when he referred it to me. But what you do is, if you're ever referring to me, you would go here.
Oh,
But
okay.
for this, you just go name and you're going to type in Fabian. Because if you put address, it's going to find Austin, which is right there next to you.
Gotcha.
This should. I know our systems are kind of wonky sometimes, so it's thinking.
Oh,
Oh, man, sometimes it does this. Let me get out of this for a second. Go back here. Yeah, Navigator is always finicky. So
and is Navigator staying in the new year, or is this going away from people?
I don't know when they're changing over to it. They keep talking about CRM, resource management, client resource. I don't know. I don't know. I just go in and see what's available today. We use a program. Oh, no, this is weird. Okay. Come on, I'm trying to show Jimmy how to do this. That's so weird. Okay, let me. What was this? What was his first name again? It's
Scott Andrews
Andrew Scott.
or
Okay.
Andrew Scott? Yeah.
Yeah. So let me close that one for a second. Let me see if I can get this to work.
Oh,
Yeah. Let's see if we can get this to work. So really quick, what I want you to notice is you're always going to be the PRM, right? Primary resource manager or whatever it is here. So you're always going to have that. Let's see if we can make this work. If it doesn't work, I'll just show you something on my end here of an
okay.
example. Let's see if we can get it to work. And sometimes it takes shutdown navigator, blah, blah. So, oh, wait, no. If it doesn't work by that, I'm going to go back to address here in a second. Fabian's awesome. He and I were texting each other. There it is right there.
Okay.
Okay, so it's gonna bring this up. And it shows that information here. And then what you do is you go like this, and you could always add notes here, but you've already emailed the information, so you don't have to add notes. So I'm
Okay.
gonna hit OK. Okay, so that was successfully referred. Okay, so now if any sale gets made, you'll get credit for it. If you don't do that right there, you're not gonna get any credit. Even if you
Oh,
send Fabian information and stuff. Now, if I open it up again, it takes 2 seconds. Okay. Oh, come on.
gotcha. Because I was like, man,
Oh, I forgot the D.
um, yeah, because when Christine said it was, and I think it was just how one of the policies have changed, and like I was like, I can imagine you got all the stuff in there, and I
Yeah.
see referral rep, yep, Baby and Clark.
Yeah. So, okay. So like the other day, there's one, actually, and I need to look up something here in a second. I need to, because Matt and I met with the client the other day, and I'm going to email her this one thing. Well, he hasn't made a referral to me. So I'm bugging him before I do anything because I want him to get credit and stuff. So it shows that there. Okay. So that's it.
Gotcha.
Okay. So that's the first step. Now the next time you and I talk, we're gonna set the next meeting and actually as we get to know each other, if you don't mind, I'd love to visit with you next week and not wait 2 weeks. I'd like to just keep talking ideas with you a few minutes here and there. But I'll show you what it takes to go through product profiler again. All we need to know for you to get $100, obviously we don't want to lead that says person has debt, they need help paying for it. Oh,
Right.
that's not the best lead, right? That's not a good lead. But if we know this person's this old, obviously the information's here. They do this as a living. They make this much a year. They have this much in checking and savings, and they have this much in retirement. That's all we need to know.
Gotcha.
Or now we assume now we have to do an asset allocation quiz. I have to send what's called a handbook. I'll treat you like a client the next time we talk, and we'll walk through some things. But I also want you to refer yourself to Austin or myself or whatever because you can get $100 bonus off yourself, and I'll treat you like a client, walk you through it, see what I can do to help you, kind of thing. And I always pivot though. When I'll do stuff I wouldn't do with a client with you because I'm trying to teach you and give you ideas how to pivot. But even like the other day, on a side note, when I work with you and when you're working with your FAs, when I work with you, I'm always going to be saying, hey, if you know of anybody else that has, like this person on Monday, has a condo, refer them over to Matt. Matt's going to take care of them. He's obviously taking care of you and things like that. But that's step one
Okay.
right there. Okay. But what I wanted to tell you was, for example, and I'm going to look at this person here. Did you write this policy or was this one assigned?
This one was assigned. I just did his annual review and everything was good, and we hit it off really good, like cracking jokes, and told him you can laugh
Good.
at me or with me. I'm good with either one. But as long as you're covered,
Good.
that's what matters most.
That's right. Did that open up on a different screen? Sometimes when we're sharing screens, it
Yes.
on a different one.
I'll pull it over here.
Perfect. So yeah, sometimes you gotta drag it twice. Okay. Yeah, perfect. So just let you know, and again, you're learning about this business. Everybody's got a different way of figuring out liability limits and things like that. But the way I talk about it is it goes back to the walk down. Okay, so what I was trying to get at the other day with the walk down, the ask up, Jimmy, is if you find out they need this much, apply for that much. Don't try. If they need 2 million, don't apply for 5. Because what if they need that extra coverage? They're not committed to it. We're not binding coverage. We can bind coverage with 1 month down and stuff like that. Something happened, but shoot for the moon. Shoot for
Okay.
the moon. Don't fine tune it until it gets issued. Because too often I'm only going to apply for 250 because that's all the person can afford. Well, what if they get preferred plus? What if they get rated? What if they get the clients? There's all these what ifs. So that's the first part, the walk down.
Okay.
Every term policy, submit it with the return of premium on there. We can always take it off. And the way I present that to a client said, there is an additional charge for this. What it does is it allows you to get most of your premiums back should you outlive the term of the policy. You're probably going to outlive the term of the policy. I want you to have something to show for it. Once it gets issued, I'll go into more detail with you.
Okay.
Now, if that sounds polished, because I've done it, 1,000 times. Okay, I mean, things like that. But I try not to sound canned when I'm talking to a client. But what I'm getting at, it's easy for us to go down in coverage. It's easy for us to take off those riders
Hmm.
than to add it back on.
Right.
Okay, so when we tell the client, we can always take this off. We'll go into detail later. The ask up portion of it is once it's issued or once it's approved, you check the box for hold for issue. Once it's approved, you're going to send a nice email to Life Team One, and you're going to say, "Hey, how's your day going? Thanks for issuing this policy on Jimmy Smith. How much additional coverage can the client get without additional underwriting?" And they're going to write back to you. And they're going to say, "Based on this, we'll give them up to this." Okay, or they're going to send you the grid on the underwriting chart. They're going to do something. Don't assume that they're going to give you extra coverage. Get it in writing. Now, then you go to the client and say, "Hey, great news! You actually got your policy issued. I know we applied for 250. They're actually going to give you $1 million, and here's what it costs." Okay. Now it's never going to be cheaper for them.
Right.
Move forward, but you show it to them. Then you let them walk you down, and you start figuring out what fits within their budget. So it's kind of a walk down, write the policy with all the bells and whistles. We can always go backwards. You,
Okay.
as the agent, in the back of your mind, every single time a policy gets approved, I'm going to ask up for more coverage. The worst they're going to say is, "No, we can't give them anymore." It was simplified underwriting. We can only give them 100,000.
Gotcha.
Whatever. And then, but again, too often people get really good rates, and then we don't give them the full coverage. And I mentioned Paul Spiker the other day. Yeah, it was a $250,000 policy, and we were just figuring out how to pay for it. I said, "Paul, did you do the ask up?" And he said, "No." And I told him what to do. He sees emails back, says they actually approved him 450, and he went out, showed him the 450,000.
Wow.
You can't flinch with premiums. You
Right.
can't show the emotion. You can't act like it's too expensive. Now, if I did my job ahead of time, I know what they have in checking and savings. I know what they have in retirement. Now I kind of have an idea of what their budget is, because sometimes things come back rated. Sometimes, whole life's going to be more expensive than term. But then he showed the people the 450, they took 350. But if he would
Gotcha.
have just gone out and showed them 250, that's all they would have taken, if not
Okay.
less. He showed them more, and they took $100,000 extra in coverage. So that's the walk down ask up.
Gotcha.
So, well, what I was going to say here, and then, like I said, we'll wrap up for today. Do you have 5 more minutes?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So, big thing here, I always recommend 250, 500, 100. Oh, sorry, that's uninsured. But you know what I mean?
Right.
Where is it?
For his
Yeah,
auto.
250s. Yeah, it's on here somewhere. Is it be? Oh, down here. So 250, 500, 100 on here. I always take away the objection from a client before I bring up higher liability limits. I say, "I know you don't want to pay for more for insurance. I hate paying my bill." You'll hear me say that. I hate paying my insurance bill, but I want that coverage to be there. And my premium is never going to be more than another $150,000 over the rest of my life, right? To come up with another 150,000 that's not out of my own pocket here, or 200,000 here. Just like with the walk down ask up, be expensive for a reason. If you're quoting somebody, they have 100, 300, you're not more expensive because our rates are not competitive. You're expensive because you gave them 250, 500, and they only have 100, 300.
Right.
I'm trying to give you some talking points on things to do out there, because you're going to deal with some frustrations about our rates sometimes and things like that.
Okay.
The other thing with this condo policy that I helped Matt Bear with the other day, after the meeting, he and I regrouped, and I looked, and they only had 300,000 on the condo and $1,000 med pay, and no personal injury endorsement. Do you know what personal injury endorsement does?
No.
No. It's a simple endorsement on there which extends whatever liability you have on the condo, the home, the farm, the renter's policy, in the event of libel, slander, defamation of character, or wrongful evasion. So if I say something about somebody spoken, that's slander. If I say something about somebody on Facebook and they sue me, that's libel.
Mm.
So a basic policy does not cover that. So I had Matt go from 300,000 to 1 million, 1,000 per person to 25,000 per person. Put on personal injury endorsement to extend that million. Okay, in the event of libel, slander, defamation of character. $2.34 more a month.
And is that another million that they get, or is that the million max?
That's 700,000. That's what
Seven.
she was getting. She only had 300,000. Another 700,000.
Okay.
The medical payments, instead of $1,000 courtesy claim, that's what a medical payments is. It's a
Right.
courtesy claim. My friend's family come over, they you bumped your head before you sue me, let me pay for your medical expenses. And it's
Gotcha.
25,000 per person times five per occurrence. Hopefully after the fourth person hits their head, the fifth person doesn't hit their head, kind of thing. I always joke around with people about that.
Right.
But then they extend that million for libel, slander, defamation, and character. And that's where you say, I know you don't want to pay more, but would you rather pay $2.34 more a month so you don't have to come up with 700,000 more?
Gotcha.
And then you start asking questions of people, they'll say, well, you say, well, if your limits get exhausted and a person sues you for $1 million, where's the other 900,000 come from? Well, my limits are only 100,000. Is that all they can get? Well, no. They can start garnishing your wages. They can take away your assets. And a lot of people say, well, they can't take my retirement. Usually that's true, but you may have to access your retirement account to live. So again, we're not trying to scare people. We're just trying to explain it to them.
Right.
Liability limits don't go as far as they used to, and I'm trying to give you an opportunity. If you're in a situation where we're getting killed on rates, you're showing them we're giving them higher limits.
Gotcha.
And even if they stay where they're at, hey, let me sleep well at night knowing that you went back to your company and got 250,500.
Yep.
Let's call them right now. Let's see what it is to increase your coverages with them. And again, these are things I'll keep telling you about, stuff like that. But yeah, so there's some ideas to start with for today. Let's look at next week and let's reconvene and let's keep talking ideas.
Yeah. Let's see. Oops, not in December.
Are you around on November 4th, next Tuesday, a week from today?
November 4th, that is a Growing Leaders Microsoft monthly meeting with Christine at 9 a.m. How early do you start, Roger?
I could start at 8. I mean, if you want, or we could look at the afternoon that day.
Um,
I have 2 to 5 open that day.
let's see. Let's do November 4th, 2 p.m.
Okay.
And then
Yeah,
and then it's PST time, right? Yeah, you're on this.
oh yeah, I'm just 2 hours away from you.
Okay.
So I'm over here tonight. So, yep, I'm gonna call it life and financial. I'm gonna put RA to FA/FS. Referrals. And then I'm going to put 2012 challenge update, which is about the life insurance, which we're talking about. And then I'm also going to put on here, it's called Next 11. It's a commercial activity that I want to run you through. And we're going to start talking about opportunities for commercial, but then also the life and the financials off of that.
Okay.
Jimmy, can I give you did you have my cell phone number? I wrote down yours from yesterday off your email, but is that your office number or is that your work number?
That's my office number.
Let me get this up here. I'll send you this for next Tuesday. If you need anything beforehand, I want you to reach out and let me know. Obviously, you've got a great resource in Austin, but Austin's doing a lot of his own service and all that fun stuff too.
Yeah, Claire's awesome. I mean, I'm trying to learn as I'm going through, and I think I'm looking forward to having my own assistant to help me figure this stuff out. It's just foreign language and the different things, and then just servicing and trying to figure out all this stuff on here.
Oh, yeah. What is your cell phone?
541
Yes.
610 2366.
I'm going to text you my work number. Rogers work under Hodges work cell. Okay, so there's that. So you've got that. I've got both your numbers. But if you need anything for next week, let me know. I know I kind of ramble. I get excited. I always wanted to be a teacher years ago, and wanted to be an elementary school teacher, and they made me a trainer here in the country. But I love working with people that have been here 5 months. I help Illinois. He's in his 51st year as being a nation. John Wall. In fact, we'll
Wow.
meet tomorrow to take care of another account. So, like I said, even if you're 50 years in, you can still utilize me as a resource. Don't. I've had people say, "Well, as soon as I learn from you, I won't plug you."
Yeah,
You're never
no.
plugging me.
I mean,
I'm still here to help.
I'm a student of this game, and there's so much in this world that there's like I need to put the right people on the bus where I am positioned
Yeah,
to be. We're all going in the same direction. Um,
that's right.
so yeah, I'm putting you as a country trainer, teacher. That way
Oh,
you'll have your teacher credentials with me. Okay, Roger. If
no,
I'm
I appreciate it. So, well, you and your family take care, and I will see you in a week if we don't talk sooner.
all right, sounds good. Thank you so much, Roger. Appreciate you.
Okay. Yep. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay, bye.